listening to my podcast station and my podcast gems: glamour, elegance, money, and sex, and not necessarily in that order. So really what I'd like to talk to you guys today about is, would you even be interested in any of those things if you didn't have a body? Imagine if you didn't have a body, how would you have sex, first of all? If you didn't have a body, why would there be a need for any form of glamour or elegance? And for sure, if you didn't have a body, why would you desire or require money for gorgeous food or clothing or a beautiful place to live or travel or the enjoyment of the physical senses, the hedonistic joy of this life and this reality and this embodiment? So I'd really like to thank you for listening to my podcast. And I'd also like to ask you, do you know anyone who might enjoy my podcast? Do you know anyone that might enjoy hanging out with me? So I'd like to invite you and anyone you know. I'm getting ready to do a 30-day Zoom series called Rich Body, Rich Life. All the details are on my website, curryglassell.com. And I'd like to explore with you and anyone you know, what exactly is it to have a rich body and a rich life? What is wealth and riches to you and your body? And would it even exist? Would you even care if you didn't have a body? And what is this amazing thing we disregard called our beautiful body? From head to toe, have you ever struggled with your body? I for sure have. My whole life, I thought I was wrong. Well, first of all, I came out wrong because I wasn't a boy. So we'll start with some points of view like that, Did you come out right or did you come out wrong, depending on your family and your culture and all that sort of thing. So if this seems fun for you or interesting for you, or if you have any limitations around your body that you'd like to change, I would so love for you to join us. And we'll start August 1st. So look forward to seeing you and meeting you guys on Zoom. Woo! Okay. Hello, and welcome to Gems. And this is Curry Glassell, your host on the Gems Network. Woo! Wouldn't that be cool if we had a Gems Network one day? Oh yeah. So Gems, what does that stand for? If you've never visited me before, it stands for glamour, elegance, money, and sex, and not necessarily in that order. Pardon me while I take a drink of water so I can continue. Now, what is the reason for my podcast? Really to have fun and to talk about glamour, elegance, money, and sex, because it's fun for me. Now, the second reason would be to evoke and inspire the entire world to consider that there is another choice other than the financial situation you find yourself in. And why am I so arrogant to say that? Well, because I've been in $2 million worth of debt before. Well, because I didn't get the big fat inheritance I thought Daddy was going to leave me. Well, because I trusted a guy who ripped me off over $1 million. Well, what else? Because I know that if I can change some of the really dumb mistakes and points of view that I had, that as I have gone through it, and the really, really bizarre and silly mistakes I've made, that you probably haven't made as worse a mistake as me. So if you'd like to try out what I have to say, then, I have had some experience with losing money, generating money, making a mess out of money, making a mess out of my life, and changing it around and getting to a place where I'm actually really happy and I have more money now than I ever had in my life. So that's kind of really cool. And I have more liquid assets than I've ever had in my life. And I still have to look at my expenses. And today I really wanted to talk about looking at your expenses, because when I was younger, that was never even an issue, When I started to get older, and the difficulty I had is that my father did not desire for me to work, which was really bizarre, and I desired to work. And when you have an attitude from your parent, the one who is, quote, supporting you, that you're not supposed to work, it's really not helpful to creating your future. And so I rebelled in many ways, and sometimes I went and got secret jobs, and I did all kinds of things. But what I didn't do is I really didn't educate myself, because I was too busy fighting my father. And so I don't suggest you do that. What I do suggest is that you begin to look at where you are now and begin to look at what does it cost you on a daily basis to live for 30 days. And that's the beginning of educating yourself and being willing to be aware of your money, and that it could be possible, even just a little bit. Even if you just give it, say, 10% possible to make a change. If you're willing to, say, have 10% change, maybe you can't quite go for 100%. That's totally cool. But what would it take for you to be willing to change your finances 10% greater? Would you be willing to go there? Would you be willing to consider going there? So if you are, keep listening. If not, you can hang up or unplug or whatever it is you do. Push stop, I guess. I don't know. So what I'd like to talk to you about is changing it by educating yourself and by taking a look at where you actually are and being willing to be brutally honest. And that means for 30 days, you're going to write down, or you're going to get an app, and you're going to literally, and this is the most boring thing you'll ever do, write down everything you spend money on. If you don't do it, after 30 days, you will become keenly aware that you actually don't desire to make a change. This is one of the key elements of not fooling yourself. So it's really easy to fool ourselves that we really would like to have more, we really would like to make a change, but there are some specifics that you can do, and unless you're willing to do them, because we live in a do reality, then you're not going to make, create, or generate a change. And the number one do is to take a look at where you spend what you currently have. How many Starbucks do you buy a week? Do you actually put away money for the future? Oops. My phone is going off in the other room. Can you hear that? What else is possible? What else is possible? What else is possible? So, what else is possible for you? And how does it get any better than this? So what else is possible? Are you willing to take a look at your expenses? And so if you're not, then you're going to have to look and face the fact that you're not willing to change. And that's so the question remains, are you willing to make even a small change? What if it's only 1 or 2 steps? What if it's only 1%? Are you willing to make a 1% change in your future? And if you are, then we can begin there. So I found a really cool statistic when I was searching the internet the other day. And get this, if you're willing, and if you're somehow willing to make $100 a day for 1 year, that actually is that ends up being $30,000. If you're willing to make $200 a day, that ends up being quite a bit more, $70,000. And if you're willing to make $300 a day, then it really shoots up, and that is $100,000 a year. Now, $100,000 to $150,000 a year is what is now considered in America to be in the top 10% of all wealthy people. So this is really cool, because basically what I'm going to ask you is, are you willing to make $100 a day? No. Are you willing to make $50 a day? Okay, so like you're saying, I can even hear you guys out there like, well, how would I do that? Well, for one thing, you could learn how to run bars, and you could charge $50 for an hour session and do that twice a day and make make $100 a day. That's one way. How could you? What could you do different. And say you don't want to, make $700 a week, right? Say you didn't want to work on Saturdays and Sundays. So what if you only made $500 a week? I mean, I don't know. It seems to me if you would begin to open your thoughts, open your awareness to other forms of revenue and other forms of income, that something different could occur for you. So I'm going to really leave you with this thought today. What is it you could do right away that is totally different? What is it you could be or do? Be or do, be or do. What else is possible for you today that you've never even thought of? What are you not willing to do? Now, here comes the opposite side, the undersides. So what are you not willing to do is as important as what you're willing to do. Many times, what you're not willing to do is also a limitation, So if you can get to the point where you don't have a charge on not willing or willing, then you open yourself up to receiving even more. So that's really kind of cool. It's a little bit of a serious topic today. And next time it'll be who knows what I'm going to talk about next. But I'd like you guys to consider looking at what you do spend in 30 days. What do you spend in 30 days? And what would you like to receive in 30 days? And what would it take for you to generate $100 a day? What would that be like? If you just begin to ponder, what can you be and do to create $100 a day? What would that be? What could that be? Well, it's not minimum wage. We know that much. But then if you're a cocktail waitress, you very possibly could make $100 a night. Now, what could you do after a while? Could you, putting some of that away for your future? And this is more other talks about the future, and we'll get into creating accounts for the future. But I just really, really would like to inspire and evoke a desire in you to take a look at how many Starbucks do you have a week? What exactly do you cost weekly? What is your personal cost? That's everything from rent to food to entertainment to Walgreens, whatever it is you do. All right, guys. Well, it's been really amazing. We're involved in these talks about how we can change our financial future. What does it take? How much are we willing to change? Are we willing to admit we don't think we can change at all? We actually don't. And you can start there too. You can say, Curry, I don't think I can change at all. And then I can go, well, that's really curious. That's really an interesting point of view. So what if you could? What if you actually could? So I'm going to leave you with, what if you actually could? What if it wasn't true you can't? Would an infinite being be subject to can't? Food for thought. And I will be talking to you next time on Gems with Curry Glassell. And I look forward to it, and see you next time. Bye-bye.